Greetings everyone, Archimedes here, and welcome back to another brick-filled LEGO video. And today, we're going to be taking a look at yet another amazing connection. This one involving the basic LEGO Technic rod, and pretty much every Axel connector mechanism known to man. And so, without further ado, let's take a look, shall we? Now, the connection here is very, very simple. In fact, I have a feeling you've discovered it on your own already. The connection is simply anything that has an Axel hole in it, and any kind of normal Technic rod, like the kind that a minifigure hand can fit into that cross hole space. Now, clearly it can rotate, but it still is held very nicely. Literally any piece that a minifigure can hold can be clipped into the cross hole of any real Technic mechanism, as you can see here. Anything will work. This connection in and of itself is very useful. I mean, I've used this many a time to mount different pieces, especially using these Axel connectors like this, like if I have a long rod I want to use. And, I mean, I've even used these stacked bushings as a tool rack. I mean, there's so many different uses for this technique, just being able to hold these pieces, that I think it's worth discussing in the first place. Now, you say, Arci, I think I've already discovered this technique. Is it really worth writing a video about it? Well, on first glimpse, I thought you were right. I was seriously doubting whether I would make a video on this all, because it's a fairly obvious technique, I think. Now, if you haven't heard of it before, I'm happy to introduce it to you now. However, there's one extra spin on it that I'd just like to make a point to you very quickly on. And that is something that I demonstrated in the opening display. As you can see, I used these Technic half beams and ran them along the ends of these normal spears. As you can see, it makes this really interesting greeble detail, like this. Using these Axel connectors, especially with smaller mechanisms like bushings or other smaller Axel connectors like cyclopean members, gives a great way of being able to spruce up cables and other long, straight items in a model. For example, I'm currently trying to design a pod racer, and I'd like to use a design like this to turn a normally fairly boring power coupling connector into this much more interesting looking thing, just by using a stack of bushings along its length. They can be positioned so the little black V can be put really wherever you want. And it really increases the appeal and the shaping of a normally fairly bland and unimportant piece of model. Whether you simply want to use this technique to attach normal LEGO rods into more Technic-y models, or attach them in more complicated ways, or if you want to add extra details to normally bland Technic rods, this very simple technique is for you. Simply using Technic rods and Axel connecting mechanisms provide a brilliant way of being able to add extra detail to your models, and also to make a nice crossover between LEGO and Technic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked this video and this very useful technique. I hope that it was interesting or informative, or at least that it entertained you for a little while. If you did in fact like this video, please comment, rate, or subscribe. If you didn't like this video, still please comment and rate, and if you really want, still please subscribe too. I want to hear what you have to say would make my video, my channel, extra ideas, different and better. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all farewell. My name is Arcimedes36, and I'll see you next Sunday.